Anti-Semitism is a virus, and because the administration and woke university presidents aren't stepping in, we're seeing it spread. We have to act, and House Republicans will speak to this fateful moment with moral clarity.
That was House Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday announcing more investigations into the anti-Semitism raging on college campuses. On top of the Education Committee's ongoing probe, the Speaker is directing 5 more committees to open their own investigations into different aspects of these protests, such as who is funding the protests and foreign students who are on visas engaging in the anti-Israel demonstrations. The Speaker also calling on President Biden to visit Columbia University for himself to see the anti-Israel protests himself. The university needing to call in the police this week to clear agitators who were occupying Hamilton Hall. Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles, a member of the House Financial Services Committee and the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for being here. What can you do about this happening overnight? The LAPD arrived on UCLA campus after violent protests erupted there. It is happening across the country.
Well, I think there's steps that, Congress needs to take. If you're, conducting these violent protests across the country, you shouldn't be eligible to have your student loans forgiven. Perhaps you shouldn't be eligible for student loans at all. But enough is enough. Like the Speaker said, this is a virus. It's spreading, and we need to speak firmly. And quite frankly, most of these folks are white, woke liberals, and enough is enough.
Well, we haven't heard a word from President Biden. I know that the White House said that they are condemning anti-Semitism, but we have yet to hear from the president on any of this. What do you think the president can do in the face of this?
Well, actions speak louder than words, and it would be great if he would speak firmly to these university presidents to say enough is enough. Look, if this was a Christian group, if this was a conservative group, they would be shut down immediately. But because these are liberals and because it's anti-Semitic, nothing's being done about it. And so we've got to defend our ally Israel. Look, they were attacked on October 7th. And if you're defending Hamas, you're defending the rape of children, and that obviously is unconscionable. And now we're talking about Jewish students feeling unsafe at school. Next week is graduation. Some graduations have been called off. Chairwoman of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, your colleague, Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, sent this message to Jewish students who feel unsafe on campus. Watch this.
I think my message is the same to a Jewish student, to a Palestinian student, to everybody, that it is really important to educate yourself about what is anti-Semitic, about what is Islamophobic, to separate a people from an action of a government, and that it is good to protest based on your values.
It's good to protest based on your values. This is what she's saying in the middle of all of this, Congressman. Your response?
Well, I mean, it's one thing to exercise your right to free speech, to peacefully protest. But when you're breaking into buildings, when you're commandeering buildings, when you're threatening individuals, when you're saying death to Israel, that's not a peaceful protest, and it's intimidation. And again, under any other circumstance, if this was a Christian group doing this, they would be targeted by the government, by these woke district attorneys. So we have a two-tiered justice system on full display with these riots.
Well, I mean, I think it's ironic to see what's happening now, whereas, you're not seeing the kinds of arrests that you saw, for example, on January 6th. You have people who are still in jail because they were near the area on January 6th. And now we're arguing on whether or not the NYPD should be arresting people.
Exactly. And, the police response, quite frankly, has been insufficient. These kids are breaking into buildings. And look, they should be expelled. They should go to jail, and they should be charged with the crimes they've committed. And you have to act firmly in this. And so when you allow them to overrun buildings and do what they've done, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to see it spread. And like you said, if you're a Jewish student on one of these university campuses, how do you feel safe? How do you go back to class? How do you graduate and take your exams? So this is racism at its finest.
Well, you've got your own chaos underway in the House. What are you expecting from your colleague, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie today? They'll be speaking this morning about their motion to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has already said that he and the Democrat leadership will block the motion and save Johnson's job. Your reaction?
Well, look, we have, as Republicans, a clear winning message on the southern border. You have Laken Riley is dead because of the southern border. You had a 14-year-old girl in Virginia, a 14-year-old girl in Louisiana that were raped by illegals. We have a message because every small town in America is a border town because of fentanyl, because of the crime, because of the attacks, and anything that distracts from that message is a mistake. We've got to go forward with a clear, concise, winning message, and the southern border is how we win the White House in 2024.
What does that mean for Marjorie Taylor Greene's motion to vacate the Speaker's seat?
I don't think it'll be successful, and again, I think it distracts us from the task at hand, the work ahead. We can win 2024. We can win the House. We can win the Senate. We can win the White House, and that needs to be the core objective. I appreciate her stand. I appreciate the message she's trying to send to the Speaker. But that being said, anything that takes us off message takes us away from winning the White House and getting Trump back into office.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching all of that. Thanks very much. Andy Ogles joining us this morning in D.C. Thank you, sir.